Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my top 24 ranked running backs for Yahoo Fantasy. Inside of today's video, I'm going to be talking about each and every single running back ranked inside of my top 24 half PPR rankings because Yahoo Best Ball uses the half PPR format. But before we get on into that, I would like to let you guys know that Yahoo Sports Daily Fantasy has a deal for all users of Yahoo DFS. You will get $30 worth of Yahoo Sports reward points to be used in contests with any deposit of $5 or more when you guys use promo code Awesemo30. That is promo code Awesemo30 when you deposit with Yahoo DFS tonight. Make sure to also use Awesemo's tools and projections for Yahoo to help you guys take down any contest you enter. Again, that is promo code Awesemo30. So without further ado, let's get into my top 24 ranked running backs in half PPR. So the first running back is going to be Christian McCaffrey, running back of the Carolina Panthers. To me, he is the no-brainer number one pick, whether it is half PPR, full PPR, or standard. Christian McCaffrey is one of the only running backs that has the potential to maybe average 30 plus half PPR points per game. He has such a high ceiling. This guy could easily be averaging that many points, but his floor is also super, super high because even on a bad game of Christian McCaffrey, he's still going to be one of the top 5 running backs in fantasy football on the week. So I believe that Christian McCaffrey is the number one overall running back for fantasy football, and there is very little controversy with that take. Basically, everyone has him ranked as the number one overall running back. At number 2, I have Dalvin Cook, running back of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Dalvin Cook obviously deals with a bit of an injury history, and every single year it appears that he's probably going to miss anywhere from 2 to 3 games, but when the guy is healthy, he can compete with Christian McCaffrey to potentially be the number one overall running back in fantasy football. While he doesn't necessarily have some insane receiving upside like Christian McCaffrey, I highly doubt Dalvin Cook is going to get 100 plus targets this season like Christian McCaffrey easily will be able to. He makes up for it on the ground, and with the Minnesota Vikings offense being pretty run heavy, I believe that Dalvin Cook should be able to finish as the number 2 running back in fantasy football. At number 3, we have Alvin Kamara, running back of the New Orleans Saints. Now, with Jameis Winston taking over, I have complete and utter belief that Alvin Kamara could easily be the number 1 overall running back in fantasy football. While Jameis Winston isn't some notorious quarterback who just dumps the ball off left and right, in this offense, Alvin Kamara is probably the best weapon on this field, the best wide receiver on the field until Michael Thomas ends up returning. I believe Sean Payton is going to draw up all types of plays to get Alvin Kamara the ball, and in the offense, how it is now with Michael Thomas, I just see a potential for maybe like 8, 9, 10 targets every single game going his way, and that is very, very hard to find in fantasy drafts. At number 4, we have Derrick Henry, running back of the Tennessee Titans. Now, a big dispute in the top 5 rankings for fantasy football. Basically, everyone has McCaffrey, then Dalvin Cook. But after that, I have Alvin Kamara. Some people may have Derrick Henry ranked at that spot. Now, the reason why I have Derrick Henry ranked at number 4 and not 3 is because Derrick Henry just doesn't seem like the running back that's going to finish as the number 1 overall running back in fantasy football. I believe that it would take a bunch of injuries for that to happen because Derrick Henry has virtually 0 receiving upside. This guy will probably get 30, 35 targets on the year, catch like 20 balls, and that's his ceiling. He's never going to eclipse 50 targets. He's never going to eclipse 60 targets or get anywhere near up there in the amount of receptions that it would take to finish as the number 1 overall running back in a half PPR format. Now, does that mean you shouldn't draft Derrick Henry? Fuck no. Derrick Henry is still my number 4 overall running back in fantasy football. He is a very, very safe pick, but his upside to me is limited by the fact that he has little receiving upside. At number 5, we have Aaron Jones, running back of the Green Bay Packers. Now, between Aaron Jones and the number 6 overall running back Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys, to me, it's basically like splitting hairs. It's a true coin flip. Despite an excellent performance in back-to-back years in 2019 and 2020, people continue to throw Aaron Jones deeper down in the rankings. In some drafts, I'm seeing Aaron Jones fall all the way into the 2nd round, and to me, that is absolutely ludicrous. With Aaron Rodgers back under center, this is going to be an offense that is going to be set up to score so many points game in and game out. Aaron Jones is a running back that is going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns. A.J. Dillon is there, sure, but I'm not all too worried about A.J. Dillon really screwing over Aaron Aaron Jones potential, so I got him as my running back number 5 on the year. At number 6, we have Ezekiel Elliott, running back of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Ezekiel Elliott was a running back that last season you could probably categorize as being a bust, because after Dak Prescott got hurt, things went completely south for this Dallas Cowboys offense. But I believe with Dak Prescott healthy for the season, Ezekiel Elliott will return to form as a potential top 5 running back for fantasy football in 2021. At number 7, we have Saquon Barkley of the New York Football Giants. Now, there are a lot of conflicting reports about Saquon Barkley. There are some reports that came out today on the 2nd of September that talked about how, hey, Saquon Barkley may be good to go for week number 1. Then there's other reports telling you that this guy may not play the first couple of games this season, that he's going to be on some reduced snap count. Now, while that does worry me, what worries me the most about Saquon Barkley is not the injury. It is the fact that the New York Football Giants are going to be a complete and utter dumpster fire this season. Now, can Saquon Barkley still play good while the team is a disaster? 100%, but inside of the top 5, I'm looking elsewhere. Saquon, running back number 7. At number 8, we have 9-inch Nicholas Chubb, running back of the Cleveland Browns. Now, in full PPR drafts, because a lot of the time he's being drafted inside the top 5, even top 6 at times, and to me that is a little bit crazy because his receiving upside is limited. But in half PPR, that does kind of limit the super big receiving upside that is needed of a running back. So I think Nick Chubb will be perfectly fine as a top 10 running back. If Kareem Hunt was not there, I would tout him as a top 5, maybe even the number 1 overall running back in fantasy football. At number 9, we have Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. It appears to be that maybe Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz won't be good to go for week number 1, but by the first couple of weeks of the season, they will be back, and that is going to be able to elevate Jonathan Taylor to a potential top 10 finish. Now, just like with Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor is also very, very talented in the receiving game, but won't be given as many opportunities because they want to use Nyheim Hines in that third down role. So I still like Jonathan Taylor, but I am tempering my expectations a little bit on him potentially finishing inside the top 5. At number 10, we have Austin Eckler, running back of the LA Chargers. In full PPR, I'm completely of the standpoint that Austin Eckler could be a top 5 running back, but in half PPR, the chances are lessened because so much of Austin Eckler's value comes from the receiving game. He's still a perfectly fine running back on a team that I believe to be very good in 2021. At number 11, we have Antonio Gibson of the Washington Football Team. The Washington Football Team a few days ago ended up cutting Peyton Barber, and now everyone was clamoring for Antonio Gibson. Kyle Allen, the backup quarterback of the Washington Football Team, even came out and said that, hey, this is Antonio Gibson's going to be Christian McCaffrey 2.0. I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't think that's what's going to happen because they want to use J.D. McKissic in the receiving role. J.D. McKissic had over 100 targets last season, and whether you like it or not, whether you think Antonio Gibson is a great pass catcher like I believe, it does not fucking matter because they're not going to use him that way. I still think he has top 10 potential, but inside the top 5, I would definitely pump the brakes on that. At number 12, closing in the top 12, we have running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers rookie, Najee Harris. Now, James Conner struggled immensely last year behind a piss-poor offensive line in Pittsburgh. And the exact same thing is going to be true in 2021 for the offensive line, except the running back here is much more talented than James Conner. While I believe this is going to be a pretty pass-heavy attack in Pittsburgh, Najee Harris is going to be very, very involved in the receiving game here in Pittsburgh and could easily surpass his ADP right now, most of the time going outside of the top 12 running backs. Now on to running backs 13 through 24. At number 13, we have Joe Mixon, running back of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Joe Mixon is one of those running backs where it's a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, fooled me again. I don't know the exact saying, but this motherfucker has fooled me 7 zillion times in a row. So I'm not ready to declare that this is going to be the season where Joe Mixon finally does it, because I've thought that for the last million seasons at this point. But I believe that he is a very talented running back. With Giovanni Bernard gone, there's going to be a lot more receiving upside for Joe Mixon in this Cincinnati Bengals offense. So I got him sitting pretty here at number 13. At 14, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was pumped up last year to be a potential top 5 running back in fantasy football. I saw him go inside the top 5 in some drafts last season, which was absolutely ludicrous. We put these sky-high expectations onto a rookie running back, and he was a complete and utter bust from that standpoint. He wasn't very good from what we had the expectations of him to do, but in reality, he was still a very solid rookie running back last year, going back to the Kansas City Chiefs in an offense where he's going to be able to catch passes. When they added Le'Veon Bell, it really screwed over Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's production from a game-in, game-out standpoint with Le'Veon Bell in the lineup versus without. Le'Veon Bell is now gone there, so the potential for Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, again, is a top 12 running back, but I haven't ranked outside of the top 12. At number 15, we have Chris Carson, running back of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, a lot of people like to talk about DK Metcalf. They talk up Tyler Lockett. They talk up Russell Wilson, but they seem to forget that Pete Carroll loves running the football. It's probably tattooed on his back. It says, run the football. Except for on the goal line up against the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl, Pete Carroll lives and breathes by the fact of running the football, and I believe they're going to run the ball a lot more in 2021, and a lot of people are going to be surprised with Metcalf, with Lockett, with Russell Wilson, when maybe they aren't as hot as they were last season. At number 16, we have James Robinson, running back of the Jacksonville Jaguars. With the Travis Etienne injury, James Robinson steps into a perfect role, but Urban Meyer is probably going to use Carlos Hyde just enough in this offense to kind of derail what could have been a top 12 season back-to-back years for James Robinson in this offense. At number 17, we have running back of the Chicago Bears, David Montgomery. His other running back on the team, his teammate, Tariq Cohen, has been placed on the PUP, physically unable to participate, which knocks him out for at least the first 6 weeks of the season, which sucks for him, but it's music to the ears of the people who love David Montgomery, because David Montgomery was basically screwed out of receiving work with Tariq Cohen in the lineup. But without Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery was a target monster in this offense deep down the stretch of the season after the injury to Tariq Cohen. So if Tariq Cohen is out for the first 6 games and David Montgomery gets a stranglehold of the receiving work there, he looks like a true workhorse running back, then I'm not too sure how much playing time Tariq Cohen will be able to sniff when he ends up getting back, and that really does elevate David Montgomery in my mind. At number 18, we have DeAndre Swift, running back of the Detroit Lions. Now, there is questions about his availability for week number 1 of the 2021 fantasy football season and the NFL season. Obviously, he may not end up playing in week 1. There's a lot of talks about a 1-2 punch there from Dan Campbell with Jamal Williams and with DeAndre Swift. With the injury, it moves him down to number 18 at the running back position. I am pretty worried about DeAndre Swift because I'm not overwhelmingly excited to draft a running back on a team that I believe to be a complete and utter dumpster fire, with another running back in Jamal Williams who's probably going to get some work. I'm very worried about Swift, but the upside is immense on the fact that he may just be getting so many dump-offs from Jared Goff. At number 19, we have Darrell Henderson, running back of the LA Rams. A lot of people seem to be a little bit nervous about Darrell Henderson now that Sony Michel is there. Personally, I feel as though there is no worry at all. I think Darrell Henderson should be able to put up big numbers regardless of the fact if Michel is there or not. I think Michel is the clear number 2 on the team, and Darrell Henderson will be seeing a majority of carries in an offense that I believe to be very good. At number 20, we have Mike Davis, running back of the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of people like to discredit Mike Davis because he's old, this, that, the other thing. This guy is by far and away the number 1 running back on this team. There are no other running backs behind him that even concern me in the slightest way. I believe Mike Davis is the clear workhorse on this team, and finding a running back that is a workhorse running back in like the 5th round of drafts is insane. Mike Davis's value is very high, especially since he could be seeing a lot of receptions on this offense as well, just like Devontae Freeman did a couple of years ago with Mr. Matty Ice Ice Baby. At 21, we have Gus Bus Edwards, running back of the Baltimore Ravens, another running back who benefited off of an injury to the starting running back on the team. J.K. Dobbins goes down, Gus Edwards in. Now, there are running backs behind Gus Edwards, and I don't expect this to be a complete and utter domination of carries, domination of receptions by Gus Edwards, but he is the clear number 1 guy on an offense that is very, very run heavy. That does normally point to success at the running back position. At 22, we have Myles Gaskin, running back of the Miami Dolphins. There was a lot of commotion a couple of weeks ago after the first preseason game that Myles Gaskin was basically finished for fantasy football. But right after that, in week number 2, week number 3 of the preseason, he looked really good. He's the clear number 1 running back on this team. I don't even understand why people were worried at all in the slightest about his role in this offense. I think Myles Gaskin is the clear lead back in Miami. At number 23, we have Damian Harris. All this news about Sony Michel being gone really shot up Damian Harris up the average draft position charts, but You should have been a part of the Damian Harris train already, because Sony Michel was going to do absolutely nothing to the value of Damian Harris, so I don't really understand why his ADP has shot up after that, but it does. Maybe it'll make you a little bit more comfortable to draft him on an offense that should be pretty solid. With Mac Jones under center, now there's a lot less opportunity to get vultured by Cam Newton, obviously, because he's not there. He's not on the team. Mac Jones isn't going to vulture you on the goal line, so I'm pretty excited for Damian Harris's upside this season. And closing in the top 24, we have a running back that is just the epitome of a top 24 running back. This guy, without Kenyon Drake, would be a top 10 running back, but Drake is there. Josh Jacobs, running back of the Las Vegas Raiders. Somehow, John Gruden disassembled the offensive line like it was Jenga. He just smacked the thing over. He smacked the tower over. He said, fuck it. We're going to go ahead, cut the whole, just change the offensive line. We're going to bring in Kenyon Drake to screw up Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs' upside is very limited. He's going to have 0 receiving work in this offense, which was a huge worry already, even without Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake is the best backup running back that Josh Jacobs has played with. I think Drake's going to get a decent amount of work, and that is really going to derail a top 12, even maybe a top 18 finish from Josh Jacobs, as I have him ranked as my running back number 24. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, make sure that you guys, again, check out Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Promo code Awesemo30 at checkout. Promo code Awesemo30. When you deposit $5, you get a free $30. So please make sure that you guys check that out. As always, have a great rest of your guys' day. Goodbye.